Top 15 scariest cemeteries in Australia. And here we go. Exciting. Exciting.
Australia is known for its breathtaking landscapes, but lurking beneath the surface are places...
You used to live 300 meters down the road from a cemetery. Ooh, did you used to go there a lot? I used to go to this really pretty cemetery in Sydney. I think it's in Bronte, but I think it's called like Waverley Cemetery, and it's like up on the cliff from like the ocean, and it's the most prettiest cemetery I've ever seen in my life. I used to go there a lot. I did a photo shoot there once, actually. Thank you for following Ellie Adams or Eli Adams, don't know. If I were to reform the FBI or the CIA, which one would I explode? I feel, are you a Fed? Are you trying to get me to, is this entrapment? Are you trying to get me to incriminate myself? I'm on to you. Ellie or Eli, I know you're probably up to something. I don't trust that question, sir or madam, or they. This is not entrapment. That's exactly what someone who was trying to entrap me would say. I feel like, so. Look, we're trying to watch spoofy videos here, okay?
Far more terrifying. In this video, we'll take you on a chilling journey through the top 15 scariest cemeteries in Australia. Haunted locations where the spirits of the past are said to still roam. From shadowy apparitions to eerie whispers, these cemeteries will leave you questioning what truly happens when the dead don't rest in peace. 1. Rookwood Cemetery, Sydney.
Oh, this is one of my favorite cemeteries. This cemetery is the border between the inner west and Western Sydney. And yeah, this cemetery is awesome. It's definitely the oldest in the country. It's huge. Yeah, I love. It's actually called Rookwood Necropolis. It's the city of the dead. Oh, you can see that Necropolis Drive. Yeah, I love this cemetery. It's amazing. Have I been to Fawkner Cemetery? I have been to Fawkner Cemetery many times. I used to take my cat to the vet at Fawkner because they had a really good vet that would give like students like, you know, cheap rates. And so when I had my elderly cat that I took down to Melbourne with me when I moved from Sydney, I would take her there because he was a really lovely vet, and he would give like pensioners and students and stuff like that, like, you know, discounted rates. So yeah, I have been through there, and yeah, I have been to that cemetery because I like cemeteries. I just thought of a cute story of one of my best friends, Josh, who unfortunately is no longer with us. He OD'd about 4 years ago. Yeah, he OD'd about 4 years ago, and I unfortunately missed the funeral because the coroner had his body for a really long time, and the time that I arranged to go to Sydney wasn't the time period where the coroner had even finished with, you know, his findings or whatever. I don't know. Maybe there were a lot of dead people in that few weeks or something. But we went to the graveyard that was near our high school, and I don't know, we were like heaps like inebriated, I guess is the word. We were under the influence of substances, and we saw all these graves without flowers, so we went around and picked like all these like wildflowers from the bush, and we put them on all the graves that didn't have flowers because we felt bad. We were like, oh no one comes and visits these graves. Let's put flowers on them. And that's a nice memory. That's just the type of boy Josh was. Until he discovered smack. And then that was a, yeah, not a great thing. But 2 out of 5 of my best friends are dead already, and I am way too young to have that many dead people in my close circle of friends. So that sucks, but I don't know. Heroin is a hell of a drug, I guess, kids. I guess that's the moral of the story.
New South Wales. Rookwood Cemetery is more than just Australia's largest cemetery. It's a place where history and the paranormal collide in a chilling spectacle. Established in 1867, this sprawling cemetery holds over 1 million souls, making it one of the largest in the Southern Hemisphere. The sheer size of Rookwood means countless stories lie buried beneath its grounds, many of which continue to reach out from beyond the grave. Visitors have reported eerie whispers carried by the wind, shadowy figures darting between the tombs.
It's beautiful, but I will say there's a lot of like vandalism, a lot of like historical graves and stuff like that. Like people just go and like break the headstones and stuff like that. I mean, it is near Auburn. It is near Auburn, and it is like, I was born in Auburn, so you know, I'm from there. I grew up in like the Granville area. Okay, I'm not, you know, not being classist, but you know, people from that area do like to just break stuff, you know, sometimes, which is unfortunate. And I speak as somebody from that area who has broken stuff. So not at the cemetery though. I would never do that. That's disrespectful to the dead. But you know, I did go through a phase where I like to engage in shenanigans, and I think that's safe to say because I'm pretty sure like the statute of limitations on those types of crimes is like pretty short. So I don't think anyone's coming to get me. Oh, good morning, Farron. Good to see you. Are we watching Spooky Places again? We are, because it's Spooky Sunday, and it's the spookiest. It's the spookiest day of the second most spookiest day of the week. I don't know, something like that. But yeah, there's a lot of vandalism in this cemetery, which sucks because it does have security, but because it's so vast, like this place is incredibly big. Like there's roads that go through it. It's nuts. Like I've been to a few funerals at Rookwood because where I lived until I was 12 is like very local to this area, obviously on the Western Sydney side of the cemetery. But yeah, so I've been to a few cemeteries here, and you have to drive through like the whole cemetery to find the section. Like there's a few roads that go through it, and you got to drive to the particular section, maybe like the particular religion. You have to drive to the section, and then yada, yada, yada. It's a whole thing. There's even a train station. There's even an old train station at Rookwood. It used to have its own train station. The train station's still there. It's just that there's not trains that go there anymore, if that makes sense. But you can still see where the old train station is, which is pretty cool. And there's a lot of like Illuminati-esque like little monuments around. It's like, it's very cool. It's a very cool place.
Tombstones, and even glowing orbs hovering above the graves at night. One of the most spine-chilling tales involves the ghost of a woman in white. Sightings of this spectral figure are common near the oldest sections of the cemetery, where she's seen wandering, lost, and forlorn. Some say she's searching for her child, while others believe she's a spirit who never found peace. Rookwood's historical significance adds to its unsettling aura. Many of the graves belong to convicts, early settlers, and even victims of the Spanish flu pandemic. With so many tragic stories and untimely deaths, it's no wonder the cemetery is a hotspot for ghost hunters and paranormal enthusiasts. The air is thick with a sense of sorrow, and the feeling that you're never truly alone lingers long after you leave. 2. West Terrace Cemetery, Adelaide, South Australia. Welcome to West Terrace Cemetery, Adelaide's oldest and most haunted burial ground, established in 1837. This cemetery is the final resting place for thousands, including soldiers, early settlers, and even infamous criminals. It's no wonder that many believe some of these souls never truly left. One of the most famous ghost stories from West Terrace involves a shadowy figure known as the Black Shadow. This mysterious figure has been...
So basically like every other shadow that's ever existed, a black shadow, do they come in other colors? I don't know, do they? That's a genuine question. I don't think they do.
Seen wandering the grounds at night, disappearing behind gravestones and appearing out of nowhere. People have reported feeling cold chills when this ghostly apparition passes by, even on the hottest summer nights. The cemetery is also home to the ghost of Captain Moonlight, a notorious bushranger who met a violent...
Captain Moonlight sounds like he should be in Sailor Moon. Never running from a real fight. He is the one named Captain Moonlight. It doesn't work, but I don't know. He would be a fitting character to add to the franchise, I feel like. Oh, we got some army graves. Oop.
End. Some say they've seen him pacing around his grave, his ghostly form bathed in a faint, eerie glow. Even more unsettling are the countless unmarked graves scattered throughout the cemetery. These are believed to belong to the poorest members of society, and it's said their restless spirits still linger, waiting for recognition. West Terrace is a place where history comes alive, literally. Ghost tours regularly visit the cemetery.
See, I don't like ghost tours. I don't like them. I just think it's kind of disrespectful to kind of make a mockery. Like, imagine if you were a ghost and these people are just coming through to like be like, ooh, ooh, there's a ghost. Look at the ghost. It's like, you would feel like an animal in the zoo. No, I don't like that. I would be definitely cursing all those people. Like, how dare you? How dare you disturb my eternal haunting of this graveyard? Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here, kids. Had enough of your shit.
And many participants claim to have seen flickering lights, heard faint whispers, and felt an unshakable sense of dread. Could it be that these spirits are trying to tell us something? 3rd Street John Cemetery, Parramatta, New South Wales Street. John Cemetery, nestled in Parramatta, is Australia's oldest...
Don't say Parramatta like that. I don't like that. It makes me feel dirty. It makes me feel dirty inside.
European burial
but
ground,
shout out to Western
with its
Sydney.
First recorded burial dating back to 1790. It's a place where the past is very much alive, and where ghostly encounters are anything but rare. Legend has it that the ghost of a young convict girl roams the cemetery, especially near the oldest headstones. Witnesses describe her as wearing tattered clothes from the colonial era. Her eyes...
This is, anybody that's from Sydney will know that this is like Para Westfields just across the road. Parramatta Westfields is just across the road. I used to go shopping here with my parents when I was a kid. We would go to Stocklands Mall in Maryland, and we would also go to Parramatta Westfields. Memories. But yeah, I've been past this graveyard like probably at least thousands of times. Because you go past it on the train as well, pretty much. Like the main Western Sydney train line goes past it as well. But yeah. Oh, I found out from watching like I think it was a Instagram short. Anyway, anyone that's like been in any type of alternative subculture and lived in Sydney would be familiar with the suburb of Newtown, right? And when I was a goth kid, like a teenager, we used to hang out and drink in a park called Camperdown Memorial Park, which is in Newtown. There were like punks, there would be goths, there would be, it wouldn't really be emos because I feel like we would bully those people. I feel like we would bully those people. They weren't really emos, thank God. But all different subcultures would hang out there. Because Newtown was like the place where like most of the gigs in Sydney would be. And then like there were a lot of record shops and a lot of like just, music paraphernalia shops and things like that. And like band shirts and like where they would sell like all that type of stuff. Anyway, I found out that I was sitting on top of one of the oldest cemeteries in Australia. Yeah, it used to be a cemetery. They just filled it in and made a park. What the heck? I'm gonna look at that. I was like, ooh, I think I've hooked up with somebody. I've hooked up with somebody probably on top of a dead body. Think about that. That's fucked up. Camperdown Memorial Graveyard. Yeah, Camperdown Memorial Rest Park in Sydney is the remnant of the city's main Anglican cemetery from 1848 to 1868. Known for being overcrowded with poor burials, in the 1940s, following public complaints and the discovery of a murdered girl's body, the graveyard was transformed into parkland, with headstones relocated to line the walls of the central preserved cemetery. It's a historic green space with notable graves, including explorer Sir Thomas Mitchell and victims of the Dunbar shipwreck, and was a filming location for the adventures of Priscilla, Queen of the Desert. Ooh, I love that. Mary Shelley peeled. Yeah, I used to go into Newtown a lot when I was in high school. Me and my boyfriend would always go there, and like we've definitely at least made out in that park. So yeah, that's disturbing. But the thing is, like, I had no idea. Like, I knew there was a walled off like church in the middle of the park, and it was just sort of there, but it was just like such a small part of the park, right? You don't even really consider it. But yeah, I'm like, holy crap. I kind of want to message him and tell him, but he like lives in Japan and I think he's married now, so I also don't want to message him because like that's very, very like weird and disrespectful. So, but I do kind of, so I'm just telling you guys instead because that's so messed up. I'm laughing not because it's funny. I'm laughing because I'm just so like horrified by the thought of just like, Anyway. What are we talking about? We're talking about how I used to go to this park when I was a teenager in Sydney, in Newtown, and I didn't know that the park was built on top of a graveyard. There were like a lot of paupers' graves and stuff there, and like a murdered girl's body was found there. And in the 1940s, they turned it into a park. But a lot of like the alternative scene in Sydney, a lot of people used to hang out in that park. And I was saying that like I've definitely hooked up in that park, so it's kind of disturbing. That's the story, honeybee. That is the story. Yeah, so I don't know. Just sharing with the class that I probably made out on top of a dead body, on top of a skeleton. Disturbing to know, disturbing to find out. Although that is pretty goth. So that is kind of like Wuthering Heights, like Mary Shelley kind of coded. So, you know, it is on brand. It is on brand for me, I will say. But yeah, going back to Parramatta.
It's hollow and sorrowful, as if searching for something or someone. Could she be one of the many convicts who met a tragic fate in early Australia? There's also the story of the crying woman, another apparition that's been spotted weeping near her family's graves. Some say her cries are so heart-wrenching that they've been heard from outside the cemetery walls. As you walk through St. John's, you can't help but feel the weight of history pressing down on you, as if the souls buried here are yearning to share their stories. The eerie stillness and the sense of being watched make this cemetery one of the most haunted places in Australia. Visitors often feel sudden cold spots, hear disembodied whispers, and see shadows that move just beyond their line of sight.
I will say Parramatta is haunted as I lived like just south of here in Granville when I was a kid. I lived there from like the time I was a few weeks old till the time I was 12. And I can tell you like there's definitely a lot of like convict spoopy stuff, because this was like the main area in Australia where you have like early convict history, that and the Blue Mountains, both of which I spent my childhood in. So yeah, there's a lot of, maybe that's why I ended up so goth. But yeah, there's definitely a lot of spoopy stuff. Have I ever had any paranormal experiences? I did. We had 2 convict ghosts at our house in Granville when I was a kid. We lived in a very, very old house. There was a very old like oak tree in the backyard, and like there used to be like some type of sandstone structure at the back of my parents' block. There was kind of like ruins of something there. It was kind of like, it kind of spanned like over a few blocks, like our neighbor's block and whatever. Like there would just be like, I don't know, there must have been a structure there, probably I would say in like the 1790s or so. So like very, very, very early colonial history. But I would, okay, this is so freaky. I would have this imaginary friend when I was little. I would have this imaginary friend, and I don't remember this, but I would tell my parents all this stuff about this imaginary friend that I had. And my parents were like gonna take me to see the priest, right? Because it was all like what I was describing to them about this, like, because my dad has a best friend. Well, he did have a best friend. He's no longer with us, unfortunately. He did have a best friend that was Irish. So I knew vaguely what an Irish, accent sounded like. And so I had this little friend that I would tell my parents about, and they just assumed it was like, I don't remember any of this, by the way, so I don't know if I was seeing a ghost, or I don't know if like whatever, but I had this imaginary friend called Kathleen, which is, pretty classic, straight out of the Irish name book. But I had this little friend, and I would tell them all the stuff that like Kathleen would say to me, and it was all like very just not things that like a little like 3-year-old like girl living in Sydney would know about like colonial history or stuff. And I don't remember any of it, but I would tell my parents like all these things that were like very like contemporaneous to like convict times. And also in that house, I don't know if this was like an episode of like sleep paralysis or something, but there was this old lady, and I saw her in my bedroom, and I felt her yank me out of bed by my feet, and I was really, really scared, and she dragged me into the hallway. And then when I woke up in the morning, I was still in the hallway, but I don't know if like that was a dream. It was more than likely like a sleep paralysis, sleepwalking episode. But yeah, those are things that I've had, and I've definitely had like sleep paralysis episodes. But it's something that I remember because I remember being in the hallway and just being too scared to move, and I remember I was probably about, it would have been like maybe in year 1 or year 2. And I remember just being too scared to move and just being in the hallway, shaking, yada, yada, yada. But you know, when you have those dreams where you can physically feel things, I wonder if I had a dream I was being yanked out of bed, but I actually just sleepwalked out into the hallway and then just kind of passed out there. I mean, that would be the, I don't know. I like to try and like rationalize things out of yeah, I do believe in ghosts, but I don't want to believe that any experience that because that's terrifying to me. I don't want to have a life where I'm just like coming into contact with like dead things. Yeah, it honestly scares the absolute shit out of me. Have I ever had a fever dream when I was sick? Yeah, I had a really bad fever last night actually. I must have been having like a lupus flare in my sleep because I woke up last night and like I always wear like a band shirt or like just a big ex-boyfriend shirt or, you know, something like that to bed. And I just woke up and my shirt was like drenched in sweat. I had to get up and have a shower. Oh, I just remembered another two ghost experiences that I've had. So actually there's been 3 of them that have happened like this. No, 4 if I count my cat. So I've had these things that have happened before when people have died. Also my cat that I had for 18 years, who was my best friend, I had the same experience with her. So I've had these dreams, right? My dad's best friend took his own life, and my dad found the body probably when I was like, I want to say I was in year 10, so I think I was like 15, 16. Anyway, maybe about 2 weeks after he died, I had this thing where it was really early in the morning and I was waking up. And this is why I think it could have been a dream. Or you could make the argument that that's when, like, you know, you're kind of, you know, making the trip astrally between worlds, if you believe in that type of stuff. I was waking up and I saw my dad's best mate, Ollie, and he was at the end of my bed and he was saying, oh, like, hey, Pans, like, let your dad know that I'm okay and I'm sorry, and make sure Twist Top and Misha, that's his dog, his blue cattle dog, and his cat, make sure that, like, they're taken care of. And yeah, and then I told my dad. I've also had the same thing happen with my grandfather. It wasn't just after he died though. It was when I had been the victim of a very serious crime and it was going through the court process, and it was in the newspapers and stuff like that, which is why I moved to Melbourne actually, to kind of try and have a bit of a fresh start. But my grandfather turned, like, it was the same thing. Like, it was really early morning and I was just sort of waking up groggy, and my grandfather was at the end of my bed and he goes, oh, don't worry, like, everything's gonna turn out all right. I know it's hard right now, but everything will be okay. And by the way, it wasn't. The reason why it was in the newspapers was because the guy was acquitted, even though there was, like, you know, very serious injuries, DNA, all of these things. He still got acquitted. So it didn't turn okay, lying ghost grandpa. I don't trust you. But yeah, and then the other time was I got this cat when I was a kid, and she was a black cat called Nightshade, and I had her from the time she was only a few weeks old, so she was a bottle baby. I got her during the school holidays, and because, you know, she was so young, she was way too young to be, you know, away from her mum. I had to bottle feed her, so I had to keep her warm, and I had to bottle feed her every few hours. And so we were very close because she thought I was her mum, right? She kind of saw me as her mum, not as her owner, because from the time she opened her eyes, like, I was her mum and I had her. And when she died, I'm not joking when I say, like, I had a mental breakdown. I think if I had have grieved for any longer than I did, I think I would have been sent to the psych ward. Like, I cried every day for 6 months, and I would only stop crying when I literally had no more energy to cry. Like, I was crying at work, I was crying on the train, I was just crying. I was so devastated. I loved this cat more than anything. She would just follow me around like a dog. We were just best mates. She was always around. She was the coolest cat, and I loved her so much. About a week after she died, I woke up in the middle of the night, and this was definitely a dream because it was bright, and it wouldn't have been bright in my room when this happened. But I felt like that heaviness on my chest. You know when like your cat or dog like climbs on you when you're asleep, like they come to get a cuddle? I had that, and I woke up and she was there, and she looked really healthy because she was 18 when she died. So you know how like cats start to look like really disheveled, and they've got like the old lady matted fur and stuff as they get older. She didn't have that. Like, she looked young and healthy. This is why I think it was a dream, because like I said, it was really bright in my bedroom, and I just think it would have been too early in the morning for it to be bright. But she was purring, and she curled up on me, and I was patting her. And when I woke up, I went to like, you know, give her a pat, and she wasn't there. And then I remembered she was dead, and I was like, oh. But that was so vivid. But it was more than likely just my brain, you know, trying to comfort me. It was more than likely my brain trying to be like, you know, give me some type of closure or whatever. Because I'd taken her to the vet the day before she got put down. I'd taken her to like this emergency vet in Kensington. And I spent $3,000 on her the night before she died, because I just wanted to make her comfortable. So they like drained her lungs because she had fluid in her lungs. They drained her lungs so she could breathe. They did all this stuff. And then the next morning I was talking to the vet, and he was like, well, you can take her home. And I was like, okay. And then I was like, what, like, you know, what's her quality of life going to be like? And he's like, well, she's probably, at most, we can keep her alive for like another 6 weeks. And I'm like, yeah, but is she, you know, what's her quality of life going to be like? And he's like, well, you know, not great. And I was like, well, I can't have her like suffering for 6 weeks just because I'm too selfish to make the decision to put her down. So sorry, I'm a sook. So yeah, so I was like, well, I'll just, you know, I said, I think it's better if I put her to sleep. My friend was with me at the time. And I was just like, I was crying so hysterically. My friend was with me. And, yeah, the vet just gave her, because she already had a drip in her arm. So the vet just gave her like the lethal injection, while I was holding her. And I just held her like as she passed away. And I was just like, I was like wailing. I was like a banshee. I was just sobbing so much. And but the vet said to my friend that I didn't hear it because they had a side conversation. But apparently the vet said that I did the right thing, which, you know, is comforting. I like to keep an animal alive that's suffering is just because like it was hard for me is pretty effed up. So yeah, it was hard, but it would be cool if her little ghost came to visit me. It would be cool. That would be cool. But yeah, I have like a shrine to her in my house. I have like the little urn with her ashes, and I have all her stuff. I threw her an 18th birthday party just before she died, so I have all like her little 18 party hat and stuff that I made for her. It was so sad. If I die and become a ghost, what kind of paranormal shenanigans am I going to get up to? Ooh, that's a good question. I would want to be creative with it, right? I wouldn't want to do like the turning on and off the lights and stuff. I think I would like getting to people's bedside tables and mess with, you know, that type of stuff. Maybe put some like chili sauce and like, you know, stuff that they got in there. Yeah, I think I would be like a perverted spirit. I think I would mess with people's bedside table paraphernalia. I think that's what I would get up to. I feel like that's, you know, that's a new spin on it. Turn on their vibrator or flashlight in the middle of the night or something. Because I just feel like the footsteps in the hallway and like the lights and stuff turning on, and unplug their fridge, yeah, spoil their milk, do stuff like that. I feel like we need to get creative. Oh, like dial their ex-boyfriend or ex-girlfriend, you know, it's awkward stuff like that. Make them think that they're pocket dialing, like people they don't want to talk to. Yeah. Hi, Kylan. Good to see you. But if you were a perverted ghost, you would just drain the batteries of people's sex toys and give everyone blue balls. Diabolical. Yeah. What are you tuning into? We're just saying what we would do if we were ghosts. Like, what kind of shenanigans would we get up to if we were ghosts? And I was saying we need to be creative. I don't know, like, how much, like, power you would have as a ghost, but I feel like putting chili sauce on, like, people's intimate things would be, it wouldn't be funny for them. It would be funny for me, because I'm dead. And then they're, like, going to the doctors to get, like, tested for STDs, but it's just the ghost that lives in their house, their resident ghost, just put, like, some sriracha in their fleshlight or something. Cross out random people in their photo albums. Oh, that's terrifying, Hyperbovian. That's terrifying. That's absolutely terrifying. I'd be on the phone with the Exorcist. Holy crap.
4. Toowong Cemetery, Brisbane, Queensland. Toowong Cemetery in Brisbane is the final resting place for over 120,000 souls, but it's the living who have the most terrifying encounters. Established in 1875, this cemetery is home to elaborate tombs, winding pathways, and a long history of ghostly activity. The most famous ghost is that of the Blue Lady, who's often seen wandering the cemetery's winding paths. She's believed to be a woman who died tragically in the early 19th.
She's an individual. She's not even wearing white. We like to see it. No long dark hair and no white dress. If you were a ghost, you would keep lonely pets company. Yeah, because they can see you. They can see you. Yeah, when their owners go out for the day. Oh, I like that. I would do that too. I would hang out with the cats and dogs. I would like that. But I like this lady in blue, you know, she's breaking with tradition. There's no white dress. It's we like to see it. We like a little bit of individuality.
1800s, and her apparition is said to appear in a soft blue glow. Witnesses claim she's harmless, but her presence sends chills down the spine of anyone who encounters her. Another unsettling experience reported by visitors is the sensation of being followed. Many have heard footsteps trailing behind them, only to turn around and find no one there. Paranormal investigators have captured strange, disembodied voices on audio recordings, adding to the eerie...
Oh, I hate those spirit box things that just pick up random radio signals, like truck drivers, CB radios. Hello, Blood, nice to see you. Make a Final Destination trap, but it just hits someone in the balls. I would 100% do that. I would 100% do that.
The reputation of this burial ground. Toowong Cemetery is a place where the line between the living and the dead blurs, and those brave enough to visit after dark often leave with a story they'll never forget. 5. Ballarat Old Cemetery, Ballarat, Victoria.
Do you think anyone was buried with their gold in Ballarat? Do you think anyone was buried with their gold nug-nugs? I suppose people would have stolen them. I need gold. I need to go to Ballarat and find gold. I need it. Bob Blood says, hello, he's new to this channel. Hello, Bob Blood. Welcome to the insane asylum. We are all crazy here. Surrender all hope, ye who enter here.
The Ballarat Old Cemetery, with its roots in the gold rush era of the 1850s, is a chilling reminder of Australia's past.
Ooh.
Many of the souls buried here met untimely and violent ends, and it seems that some of them are still lingering, unable to move on. One of the most famous spirits is that of a miner who was killed in a brawl over a gold claim.
Ooh, here we go.
They've seen his ghost wandering the cemetery, still searching.
Maybe he has hidden gold. Let's go ask him, sir. Sir, please, in this economy, I'm never going to own a home. May you please point me in the direction of your gold, sir? Thank you. It's no use to you where you are, okay? I'm still here. I'm still suffering. I need the gold. Please help me out.
Searching for the fortune he never found. There are also reports of a woman dressed in 19th century attire who appears near the grave of her child, her face etched with sadness. Ghost tours frequently explore the Ballarat Old Cemetery, and participants often capture strange orbs, unexplained mists, and even shadowy figures on camera. The cemetery's connection to the gold rush, combined with its eerie atmosphere, makes it one of the most haunted spots in Victoria. 6. Glenorchy Cemetery, Hobart, Tasmania. Located just outside of Hobart, Glenorchy Cemetery may seem like an ordinary burial ground at first glance, but its eerie past makes it one of Tasmania's most haunted locations. This cemetery holds the remains of early settlers and convicts, many of whom died under harsh conditions. It's believed that the restless spirits of these long-forgotten souls still haunt the grounds.
Oh no, look, it's one of those rings from Doctor Who. What are they called? The something angels? Weeping angels? And it's actually weeping. Call a priest.
One of the most unsettling stories from Glenorchy is the frequent appearance of ghostly figures seen walking between the tombstones at dusk. These apparitions often vanish without a trace, leaving behind a lingering sense of dread. Some say they are the spirits of convicts who died in Hobart's brutal penal system, unable to find peace even in death. Visitors to the cemetery also report feeling sudden drops in temperature, particularly around the older graves. Paranormal investigators have detected unexplained electromagnetic activity in these areas, further fueling the cemetery's haunted reputation. Whether it's the convict history or the tragic tales of early settlers, Glenorchy Cemetery remains a hotspot for those interested in the paranormal. 7. Southhead Cemetery, Sydney, New South Wales. Southhead Cemetery, perched on the...
Wait, is that Waverley Cemetery? Is Southhead Waverley? Let me see. If this is the one in Bronte. This is the cemetery I was talking about. That's really beautiful. Hang on. I've never heard it be called Southhead, but I guess it technically is on Southhead. I thought it was called Waverley. Waverley Cemetery. Yeah, Waverley Cemetery, Bronte, but I feel like this is the one he's talking about. I guess it will say. He has been giving the addresses, so we might be able to know. Oh, that's not the right video. Okay. Sort it out.
The cliffs overlooking Sydney Harbour is as beautiful as it is haunting. This cemetery, with graves dating back to the 1800s, has a long history of ghostly sightings and unexplained phenomena that have left visitors shaken. One of the most famous stories...
Oh, this is a different graveyard. This isn't the same one, because the one I'm talking about is like up against the cliff. You thought that was the sound of my keyboard?
involves a spectral figure known as the Lady in White. Witnesses describe seeing her walking along the cliff's edge, vanishing into the mist just as suddenly as she appears. It's believed she's the ghost of a woman who fell to her death, and her spirit has been searching for peace ever since.
Just so you know, if you lived in this unit, if you lived in one of these units, these units here, these flats in this old crappy brick building are probably worth more money than you will ever make in your lifetime. Just so you know. These flats are probably like $3-4 million for a 2-bedroom, maybe $5 million for a 2-bedroom. Actually a lot more, because you'd be able to see the ocean. Probably like $5 million, and probably like, I know some 1-bedrooms, some studios have been selling for over $1 million, $2 million in this area as well. It would definitely be a reason to jump off a cliff if you were trying to afford a mortgage on one of those.
Apart from this tragic tale, many visitors report hearing strange whispers carried by the ocean breeze, as if...
Oh, also, speaking of Southhead, do you guys know of a place in Sydney called The Gap? Because it's right near here. Because this is Vaucluse. So, there's a place in Sydney called The Gap, and it's in Vaucluse, and it was like the #1 suicide spot in the world. So many people have jumped off there. It's very close to there. They actually have nets there now, and they have these phones. They have these phones that like connect directly to Lifeline. So if you pick up a phone there, it'll automatically dial Lifeline and put you through to somebody. But yeah, I've been there. I've been there at night. Oh, it's in Watson's Bay. Close enough. The Gap in Watson's Bay, Sydney has a long history as a site for suicides and accidental deaths, with over 100 confirmed suicides by jumping between 2000 and 2016, and many more across different time periods. Though there isn't a single official annual total for all Gap deaths, preventative measures like barriers, cameras, and counselling phones have been implemented to reduce these incidences, which are often fatal, resulting in severe injury for survivors. So there's an old man that lives in like one of the cliffside mansions here, and he always goes walking at night to see if like anybody's sort of around, hanging around there, contemplating deleting themselves, and he always goes and talks to them and invites them over to his house for like a cuppa. And apparently he's saved like scores of people just by like, you know, going and like giving them, having a chat with them and like giving them a cup of coffee or a cup of tea or, you know, a hot chockey. And yeah, what a nice old man. What a nice old man. We don't begrudge him having a $50 million house because he seems like a nice boy. He does seem like a nice boy. Oh yeah, you just wrote about that. Wasn't there a famous old man who saved a bunch of people's lives? Yeah. I don't know if you wrote that before I started talking about it or not, but yeah, there was. But it is a really beautiful place. Like, look at that. Stunning. But yeah, that's not far from there.
The souls buried here are trying to communicate. Some have even seen figures standing near the cliff, only for them to disappear into thin air. The cemetery's location, so close to the crashing waves below, adds to its eerie atmosphere. Paranormal investigators have conducted numerous studies here, and the results are often unsettling, with strange energy readings and disembodied voices caught on tape. South Head Cemetery is a place where natural beauty and the...
If I was a ghost, I would make fart noises and like fake orgasm noises. Like, I'd be like, I'm Sydney Sweeny. I've got amazing genes. And that's what I would say into the spirit box. Or I would just be like... That's what I would do if I was a ghost. I'm Sydney Sweeny. I'm touching myself.
Supernatural collide, making it one of Sydney's most haunted and captivating locations. 8. Karrakatta Cemetery, Perth, Western...
Sorry, Hyperbovian's what he's saying. I'm Sydney Sweeny. I can't even say it. I shit my pants. I'm Sydney Sweeny. I can't say it. I can't say it without laughing. I'm sorry. I was gonna say it. I'm Sydney Sweeny and I shit my pants. But I can't say it without laughing. Hang on, I'm gonna record myself tonight saying it when I stop laughing. Hang on, I wanna get it. Stop laughing. You can do it. Oh my god, why is it so funny? All right. Deep breath. Deep breath. It's so hard to do like the orgasm voice where you say, I shit my pants. I'm Sydney Sweeny. I shit my pants. Okay, it wasn't as good because I was trying not to laugh. I need to work on it. I was trying so hard not to laugh. All right, moving on, guys. Moving on.
Australia. As Perth's largest and most historic burial ground, Karrakatta Cemetery is home to over 200,000 graves. It's not just the size that makes it unsettling. This cemetery is a known hotspot for ghostly encounters and paranormal activity. One of the most disturbing stories involves a mysterious figure known as the Watcher. Visitors have reported seeing this shadowy presence near the graves of children, often described as a tall, dark figure that seems to vanish as soon as it's noticed.
Oh no, there's a PDF file ghost. Why are you hanging out near the graves of small children, mate? Just want to have a word. Just want to have a word with you, you know? Even in death, these creeps be creeping. Unacceptable. I should do April Fools with that. I should go hang out wherever the ghost hunters are, and like have like a CV radio, have like a ham radio on like some obscure station, and then they find me going, I'm Sydney Sweeny. I shit my pants. Imagine hearing that.
Believe the Watcher is a guardian spirit, while others feel it's something much darker. Other eerie experiences include the sound of children's laughter echoing through the cemetery, despite no children being present. Cold spots, flickering lights, and the sensation of being watched are common occurrences, especially in the older sections of the graveyard. Paranormal investigators have recorded unexplained voices and sudden temperature drops, adding to the mystery. Karrakatta Cemetery is a place where history and the supernatural intertwine, and its unsettling atmosphere leaves visitors wondering if they've truly left the land of the living. 9. Port Arthur Cemetery, Tasmania, Isle of the Dead.
Okay, that is so sick. The Isle of the Dead. Come on, Tassie, that's amazing. Also, Tassie used to be called Van Diemen's Land, which just sounds so cool. Like, imagine if there was like a little ferryman that took you across from like here to the Isle of the Dead. That would be so cool. It's like you're crossing the River Styx, you pay the ferryman, you go across to the Isle of the Dead. They should get someone to dress up like that and have like a little barge where they have like a little paddle and they just stand up in like long dark robes. Cool idea. Cool tourism idea for the goth kids out there.
Port Arthur is one of the most notorious convict settlements in Australian history, and its cemetery, located on the Isle of the Dead, is a chilling reminder of the brutal conditions endured by those sent there. The cemetery holds the remains of over 1,000 convicts, guards, and settlers who died on the island, many of them in horrific circumstances. Visitors to the Isle of the Dead report overwhelming feelings of sorrow and unease, as if the very air is heavy with the suffering of those buried here. Ghost sightings are common, with many claiming to see shadowy figures wandering the grounds at night, disappearing into the fog. One of the most famous apparitions is that of a convict who was hanged and buried without ceremony. His ghost is said to roam the cemetery, forever restless. Ghost tours of the cemetery often result in strange encounters, from disembodied voices to the sensation of being touched by unseen hands. Paranormal investigators have captured eerie photos and audio recordings that suggest something or someone is still lingering on the Isle of the Dead. With its dark history and isolated...
And then they just hear, I'm Sydney Sweeny. I shit my bed. I'm sorry, I have so many problems, guys. Only I could turn a ghost stream into like laughing about Sydney Sweeny shitting her pants. I need help. I need a lot of psychological intervention. All right, I'm so sorry. I can't take it. I can't take anything seriously.
Location. Port Arthur Cemetery remains one of Australia's most haunted places. 10. Melbourne General Cemetery, Melbourne, Victoria.
Oh, this one's really nice. And apparently this cemetery used to be where Queen Vic Markets are now, but they moved it. So Queen Victoria Markets is built on the original site for this graveyard. Touched by unseen hand. That sounds lewd. Yeah, some lonely people would go to the cemetery to get touched by unseen hands. Like, I think there's a lot of lonely people out there would be like, yeah, I don't care if it's a ghost. I just need to be touched, man. I just need to be touched. Off they go to the graveyard.
Victoria. Melbourne General Cemetery is not only one of the city's most historic landmarks, but also one of its most haunted. Established in 1853, this vast burial ground is the final resting place of many prominent figures, including prime ministers and artists. But it's the ghosts of ordinary citizens who seem to make their presence felt the most. One of the cemetery's most famous hauntings involves a grieving mother who's been spotted near the grave of her child. Dressed in black mourning attire from the Victorian era, she appears to be weeping, only to vanish when approached. Witnesses describe...
That's pretty goth. I want to be her friend. That sounds so goth. I'm into that. I'm really into that.
I'm feeling a deep sense of sadness in her presence, as if her sorrow transcends the grave. Other visitors report hearing strange whispers and seeing glowing orbs floating above the graves at night. Paranormal investigators have conducted numerous studies here and often report unexplainable phenomena, including sudden cold spots and equipment malfunctions. Melbourne General Cemetery's combination of history and hauntings makes it one of the most eerie and fascinating places in Australia. 11th, Ararat Lunatic Asylum Cemetery, Ararat, Victoria. Buried deep in the heart of Victoria's goldfields, the Ararat Lunatic Asylum Cemetery holds the remains of hundreds of former patients who died within the walls of one of Australia's most notorious asylums. Many of the graves here are unmarked, and it's said that the spirits of these forgotten souls still haunt the area. One of the most chilling ghost stories involves the apparition of a former patient who was buried in an unmarked grave.
I feel like that was a really hot dude. The guy all in like black tattered robes. I feel like he would be hot. Is there something wrong with me? I don't know. I don't know. There's something so hot about like, I don't know, just like, I don't know. Maybe I just listened to too much Nick Cave or something like that. Probably. That's probably it. I just have a lot of problems in my brain.
Grave. Witnesses describe seeing a ghostly figure wandering aimlessly through the cemetery, often appearing confused and disoriented. paranormal investigators have captured.
This is not an Australian cemetery. This does not feel like... I feel like he used real photos for the other one, but these are like AI, because this is not giving Australia.
Strange audio recordings near the graves, including whispers and...
Stop trying to fuck the ghost. I can't. I'm sorry, but I think some of them would be really hot. I don't know. I feel like this dude would be heaps hot, right? I don't know. I'm just getting those vibes.
Explained cries. The atmosphere here is heavy with sorrow and regret, and many visitors report feeling a deep sense of unease as they walk through the grounds. The spirits of the patients who were mistreated during the...
Maybe the Ghostbusters were called the Ghostbusters because they busted a nut over the ghosts. What if we were lied to? What if we were lied to?
Their time at the asylum are said to still linger, searching for peace they never found in life. The Ararat Lunatic Asylum Cemetery is a place of...
He's probably from the 1800s. His teeth would be awful. Yeah, true. I didn't think about that. Good point. Yeah. I have that under advisement, actually. Reassessing the situation.
Both historical significance and deep, unsettling hauntings. 12th, Waverley Cemetery, Sydney, New South Wales.
Oh, this is the one I was talking about. This is the prettiest graveyard ever in the history of the entire universe. Yeah, this graveyard is so beautiful.
Situated on the cliffs overlooking the Pacific Ocean, Waverley Cemetery offers one of the most breathtaking views in Sydney. But don't let the beauty fool you. This cemetery is known for its hauntings, particularly those of a ghostly woman who's been seen wandering the grounds. The Lady in White is a well-known figure among paranormal enthusiasts. Described as wearing a flowing white gown, she's often seen near the older graves, gazing out toward the ocean as if waiting for someone. Some believe she's the ghost of a woman who lost her lover at sea, while others think she's a spirit tied to one of the cemetery's many tragic stories. Visitors also report hearing strange sounds, such as footsteps behind them when no one is there, or the distant echo of a woman's voice calling out in the wind. Paranormal investigations have yielded strange results, including temperature fluctuations and mysterious orbs appearing in photos. With its picturesque location and eerie atmosphere, Waverley Cemetery is a place where the supernatural seems to walk hand in hand with the natural beauty of the landscape. 13. Launceston General Cemetery, Launceston, Tasmania. Launceston General Cemetery, one of Tasmania's oldest burial grounds, has seen more than its fair share of paranormal activity. Established in the 1800s, this cemetery is home to thousands of graves, many of which belong to early settlers and convicts. Over the years, numerous ghost sightings have been reported, and the eerie atmosphere only seems to grow thicker with each passing decade. One of the most common sightings is that of a shadowy figure who roams the cemetery at night, described as tall and thin with a dark cloak.
What if the Lady in White is the same ghost that just keeps on showing up at different graveyards? She might even be the Lady in Blue. She might just change her dress. You know, girls do like to have a backup outfit. It's very important. You know, she might have spilt some pizza on there, you know, maybe like some pasta, you know, something oily and red that stains. White is such an impractical color to haunt things, I feel like, especially in graveyards, right? Because if they're still operational, there's going to be like a lot of dirt around. And yeah, white is just a really impractical color, guys. It's yeah, don't recommend. But yeah, you could be onto something, Pseudomastics. You could be onto something there. I feel like black is like a way better color, you know. Because I am somebody that like does get food like on the clothes that I'm wearing, because like I don't know, I'm just somebody that kind of like absentmindedly like shoves food in my gob. Like if I'm not with people, I am the biggest animal. I'm like the bush tucker man, just sitting there, like just sitting there not using cutlery, just shoving food in my gob with my hands and like, oh whoops, it fell down my shirt. Oh well. I've dropped food in my cleavage before. Like I've dropped like a morsel between my boobs. It's yeah. Look, when I'm alone, I just go full savage mode. I just become a wild woman. There's, you know, something freeing about that.
This ghostly presence is often seen near the oldest graves, disappearing into the mist as quickly as it appears. Some believe this figure is the spirit of an early settler, while others think it could be a convict who never found peace in death. Visitors also report hearing strange noises, such as faint whispers or the sound of footsteps on gravel, even when the cemetery is completely empty. Paranormal investigators have captured unexplained photos and EVP recordings, leading many to believe that Launceston General Cemetery is one of the most haunted places in Tasmania. 14. Ipswich General Cemetery, Ipswich, Queensland.
Ooh.
As one of Queensland's oldest cemeteries, Ipswich General Cemetery has earned a reputation as a place where the dead don't always rest peacefully. Established in the mid-1800s, this cemetery is known for its ghostly apparitions, eerie whispers, and sudden cold spots that send shivers down the spines of even the bravest visitors. One of the most unsettling ghost stories involves a spirit known as the Crying Woman.
Ooh,
She's
that's
been seen near
cliche.
the grave of her child.
We do like a nice cliche story. We do like a crying woman, wailing woman story. We do like it. You know, sometimes you gotta stick to the classics. You just gotta do it.
Weeping softly in the darkness. Witnesses describe hearing her sobs before seeing her ghostly form, dressed in old-fashioned mourning clothes. She often vanishes into thin air when approached, leaving behind only the echoes of her sorrow.
You bet ghosts from the 60s wear tie-dye. Yeah, and that's why you never see them, right? Because imagine a ghost wearing like bell-bottoms, like flared bell-bottom like jeans and like a tie-dyed top and like, you know, all the... Like, you would just laugh. You would just laugh if you saw that, and it wouldn't be menacing. But there's, like, something about, like, a, you know, 19th century, like, attire that's just, like, freaky, right? It's just scary. It's just kind of scary anyway. You know, everybody's got consumption. They're just coughing up blood everywhere. They've got, like, that sick Victorian child pallor, which I kind of have, to be honest. I'm pretty pale. I'm pretty pale. I definitely have the sickly Victorian child look going on, but that's okay. That's all right.
Paranormal investigators have experienced strange occurrences in the cemetery, including sudden equipment failures and unexplained voices captured on audio recording.
Yeah, they keep on hearing, I'm Sydney Sweeny, and I shit my pants. I want to actually do that. If I know there's like a ghost tour and they've got those spirit boxes, I want to like get a ham radio and work out like how to trick them, like hide somewhere and work out, like find a way that they'll definitely be able to pick me up going, I'm Sydney Sweeny and I shit my pants.
Some believe that the spirits of those buried here are trying to communicate with the living, while others think that Ipswich General Cemetery is simply a place where the past refuses to stay buried.
Ooh, spicy. Look at the production value on this. Way to go. I just saw a graveyard that said Colgate. Is he the toothpaste guy? Probably not. Probably not. That's probably some rich American guy that probably has his own like mausoleum, so he's not like buried with the peasants. But Colgate. I like to have clean teeth. It's my hobby. Is the video muted? It shouldn't be. There should be like saxophone music going. Okay, let me know if you can hear it. It should be
and there
like...
you have it. The top 15 scariest cemeteries in Australia. Whether it's the restless souls of convicts, tragic spirits, or mysterious figures that vanish into the mist, these haunted graveyards are not for the faint-hearted. If you're brave enough to visit, you might just encounter something or someone you can't explain. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and let us know in the comments which cemetery gave you the most chills.
The one where Sydney Sweeny was there torturing me. That was the scariest one. Awesome. Good. Because I'm not smart enough to fix technical difficulties. Like, this is me firing on all cylinders. So it's you know, it's hard out here. It's hard out here for a bimbo. I don't think you guys appreciate how hard my life is. When you can only use like a small percentage of your brain, it's hard. I'm really obsessed with her today. I don't know why, because it's just so ridiculous. Because the whole thing is just ridiculous. Like it's just the most absurd thing I can think about. It's just like a ghost impersonating Sydney Sweeny, talking about how great her genes are, that she shut herself. I don't know. It's so dumb. It's so dumb. Don't worry. I'll find another joke by the end of the stream. I'll find something else stupid to become obsessed with. This will be like our chat in joke when like more people start watching the stream. We'll like always throw back to the I'm Sydney Sweeny, I shit myself, and people will be like, what are you talking about? La boo boo. Exactly. So this